Magnus Carlsen of Norway is now the official world chess champion. So this isn't a big surprise because he's been basically ranked number one. If you see, this is the world ranking, and he's been ranked either one or two, but mostly one since he was 19 years old and 1 month. So at that time he had a rating of 2,810. That has slowly increased up to 2,870, but he's been, you see how he's progressed through the years. Here the age is increasing, and you see his rating increasing, and his world ranking obviously is going down from 33,000 all the way to number one. So the question I had was, who could be the next chess champion? And in order to do that, we basically have to look for younger players that are in this area, where this is the on the x-axis going from left to right is the age, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23. Over here on the y-axis we have the rating. So it's incredible to note that when he was a little over 10, 10 and 1/3 years old, 10 years, 4 months, he had a rating of 2,064. I think mine is at best maybe 1,600. So that is just incredible. And now obviously at the very bottom his rating is 2,870. So as you can tell, whether you're number one in the world or number, let's say, 10 or 20 or 100, it sort of peaks over time, peaks in your 20s, and then it might go up a little bit, but then it might sort of start to level off. So to make a long story short, I wanted to see if anyone can potentially catch him, or who would be his competition. Now we can look with the human eye and see that, okay, so this guy Fabiano from Italy, 21 years old, rating is pretty high. It's only 44 away from Magnus. But this is actually, and then we can see someone else down here who's 19 years old and who's not too far away. We could scroll down and find some more, but there's 170,000 rows of data, so that would take a long time. So this long formula, to make a long story short, what I did was use the index match, and index match is like a lookup formula, similar to VLOOKUP. And the match is saying the true means find the closest match. So this age belongs to the person in this row. So the 21, this Fabiano's 21, and this guy here is 19 years old. So what we're doing is using index match to look up, first of all, the closest age, because it's set to true, so get the closest one. We look in this column, column H, and when we find it, we want the rating from here so that we can compare the potential competition to so to basically know when Magnus Carlsen was 21, what was his rating. So now he's 23, but get his rating when he was 21, or the rating that Magnus had when Magnus was 19. So I do the index match, I get that number, and then I say, all right, I want to get the rating of the person in the row minus the rating that Magnus had at that same age, and that will basically give us a plus minus. So most people are a little bit behind, but once again, this is an approximate age. It doesn't have the months and the weeks. So it gives you a general idea of the people that are very highly rated, but also are relatively young, because some people here are 44, 45, 50 years old. Well, Gary Kasparov is retired. Anyway, so I did that long formula, and then over here a simple yes/no field to use in the pivot table filter to make sure that the values here are numbers, not blanks, and that they're within a reasonable range. Because if someone is way, way, way behind, when they're age 16 and their rating is only 1,200, they're not going to catch up. So the next thing to do now is to create a pivot table, and we basically need to highlight the column headers at the top, all the way down, Control Shift down, insert pivot table into a new worksheet. And what we want to do is take the yes/no field, drop it in there, filter this down to true, the people that might have a chance. Now we're going to get the name, drag it into the row label area, and this is a lot of data, so it takes a little bit of time. And next, we want to take this sort of rough estimate value, can anyone catch him? Drop it in the values area. Now it defaults to count because back in here there were a lot of blanks. So when you have blanks, it defaults to count, but we can simply click here, change it back to sum, and click the OK button. So now we have all these. The ones that are interesting are the ones that are pluses. And this one, I mean, let's do a couple other things. Click here. Let's sort the data really quickly like this, and to say descending, and we're going to, not by name, we're not concerned about alphabetical, but by that numerical value. There we go. So 182. So these ones are of particular interest. And now many things can change, right? Someone way down here could become the champ. Who knows? But let's do one other thing. Let's get the rating. Okay, so we're going to drop it in here underneath the name. Now we've got to change this around. I don't like this layout, so we'll click up here in the pivot area. We'll go to options. We will go to display and go to classic. Click the OK button. And subtotals, we don't need those either. So click any one of the subtotals, right click, remove it. Okay, so now we can read this. So this person could potentially be above the pace that Magnus Carlsen was at, but we need to also see their age. So let's just quickly get the age, drop it into this area, get rid of those little subtotals, right click, and wow. This person is 11 years old and has an incredible rating. The same with all these people right here. Very, very young with just incredibly high ratings. So I guess these would be the people that maybe will have a chance to catch up to him. So I guess basically, if you know how to do a couple of relatively simple formulas like this one, and then take the data, drop it into a pivot, put some fields in here, and then rearrange it a bit, you can very quickly see how these people work very hard and are very talented, because look how young they are and look at that rating. That's just incredible.